if you're new to the channel, what I basically do is I go to thrift stores, yard sales, auction houses, and I find the coolest, oddest, rare, most collectible things, and I show them off to you guys. And for the extreme collectors out there, you can always message me in the comments. You can send me email if you need to get a piece for your collection. We can definitely work something out. Okay, so before we get today's show started, I want to give a couple of shout outs to a couple of guys that follow me on Facebook. So I'm going to go down this list real quick. And the first one I'm going to start with is one of my favorite places of all time. It is Piddler Snack and Auction. It's located in Duncan, South Carolina at 122 North Moore Street. That's 122 North Moore Street, Duncan, South Carolina. Piddler Snacks and Auctions, right? So you can go to this place. They have a live auction, right? And Barry Thornton is the auctioneer. They're a great, wonderful guy, right? The auction is so much fun, man. Like, you guys don't know live auctions until you've been to one of his auctions. But I tell everybody, I don't go for the stuff. You know, I love finding stuff there and buying stuff, but I really go for the food because the food's the best around, man. They always got something like cornbread and pinto beans, or they got fresh, huge, giant baked cookies walking around like they're at a baseball game. Like, cookies here? Man, I love that place. Alright, so next shout out I'm going to give out to is Shane Fortenberry, who owns Shane's Lawn Care. And you can reach Shane at 864-431-0773. That's 864-431-0773, Shane's Lawn Care. And Shane's a great guy. I know him. He's local around here, and he works hard. And he doesn't show up with, like, just a push mower and an old raggedy leaf blower or something. No, he's got the right stuff to get the job done for you guys. So check him out. I also want to give a shout out to Mariah and Earl, the real estate agents out of Columbia, South Carolina. If you're looking to buy a home or sell your home and you're in the Columbia, South Carolina, or you're from out of state and you're looking to move to Columbia, South Carolina, you can definitely hook them up. That's Mariah and Earl Real Estate Agency. I also want to give a shout out to Grease Monkey Auto Service out of Easley, South Carolina. If you guys have old antique cars, vintage rides and stuff, these are the guys to go to. They specialize in stuff like that. Rat rods, custom builds. You can get a full breakdown of your engine and have them redo it all. Then these guys are great. They know their vintage stuff. Alright, I also want to give a shout out to a buddy of mine. This is Tyler Shelton. Shelton Smoking Butts Barbecue and Catering out of Greer, South Carolina. And these guys make wonderful barbecue, and they can come out and do events like weddings. They can do anything you need catered. They can handle that. You can find them on Facebook, or you can actually call them directly at 864-907-5809, excuse me. That's 864-907-5809. Shelton Smoking Butts and Barbecue and Catering. Go check them out, guys. Also want to give a shout out to Freedom First Medical Transport. And if you don't know who these guys are, you can go and look them up on Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. These guys are great guys, and they're out there in the holidays. They're out there in the rain, sleet, snow, the heat. They're handling things. So check them out, Freedom First Medical Transport. Also got a shout out for the Hooch Pizza and Burger Joint out of Helen, Georgia. Appreciate you guys watching the channel, and I love going down to Helen, Georgia. I love Georgia. I mean, I'm in South Carolina, and I'm like in the center of the crisscross of the states, where I can be in North Carolina in like 15-20 minutes, or I can be in Georgia within an hour or two. Alright, so we got Rise Curbing Service, and I know this guy personally, and Rise is a great guy. That's RY''S Curbing, Landscape Curbing. You can reach Rye at 864-309-3274, and what he can do for you is come out to your property, and he can put concrete circle pads around. He can do stonework. He can do anything that's concrete related and landscaping. He's definitely the one to go to. So you need to check him out. Look him up on Facebook. That's Rise Curbing, Landscape Curb. Alright, and for the last shout out I'm going to give on the show today is going to go to Carroll Construction. And I know Thomas Carroll, great guy. He knows his stuff. He's been doing construction since he was probably in his early teens. That's all I've known him to do my whole life. And he can handle any of your remodeling needs or construction, new construction. He's the guy to call, and you can give him a call at 864-202-9148. That's 864-202-9148. Alright guys, so we're going to get to the show now. So I know everybody's staring at this stormtrooper that's sitting on the table, right? And you have every right to be, because this, as a matter of fact, is a 1978 General Mills 12-inch stormtrooper. This is an original made by Fun Group in Hong Kong, Japan. Now, you won't believe the story behind this one. I went to a store up in Taylor's called Miracle Hill, and I do what I normally do. I go up to the glass, I look at stuff, didn't see anything that day, and I kept walking around the store, and I finally get to the kids section. I'm like, let me see if I can find some old Hot Wheels or something, you know. Well, I found this Star Wars, and I'm like, no way. I mean, it looked kind of vintage at first, but at first I was like, nah, it's probably new, but something just told me, just check it out anyway. So I did, and whenever I looked on the back, right above where it says Davy, it's got the original 1978 General Mills stamp on it, and it has the gun still attached to the side hip. And I look it up on eBay real quick, and it says that about the same condition, I found one on eBay, about same condition this one's in, but without the gun, was listed, not selling for, but listed for $389.99. So who knows what it could go for with the gun, you know, but I'll go ahead and show you, try to get it up closer view, where I only paid $1.50 for this. So this might have to get just put on the shelf for a little bit just to show it off, but it's definitely for sale if anybody out there is looking for it. So I just think that's an awesome find. I mean, this is something that you would have got, because Star Wars come out, I believe, in 77, so this is 78, so I'm assuming this is part of their first toy line, you know. But yeah, this is pretty neat, man. So we're gonna go ahead and move to the next thing. So we have found a vintage 1982 official Nerf ping pong game by the Parker Brothers. Now the front says that it won't mar furniture. I don't know if you guys can see that right there, but I don't know if that's supposed to say mar, like it's something fancy, or is it just a misprint? Did it not get the K stamped on there? And I'll show you the back of what this thing looks like on the inside, as you can see. So let's go ahead and just open it up. And as you can see, it's got the original paperwork from Parker Brothers where it's stamped with Nerf. It does have the original two little ping pong paddle balls and the paddles that, you know, won't mar the furniture. But as you can see, what it was basically is it was a net that you could assemble and stick in like right here or something and set it up on your table. Now they made it so you can make your net, you know, short for a little desk, or come with pieces that connect together that can make it longer, and then you'd have your own on-the-go ping pong match. So I think that's pretty cool, man, and everything's still there in the original box, like I said, from 1982. So that's older than me, and I just think that's pretty cool find, man. Like, somebody would definitely love to have that. I didn't even know that Nerf was involved with board games. For all I've known Nerf is for is like their Nerf guns and maybe tennis balls they had for dogs and stuff. But yeah, so this is definitely a cool find right here. So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing we got. Okay, so up next we have found a vintage 1976 to 77. I'm not official on this. I gotta do some more research on the serial number, but we definitely know it was made between 76 and 77. This is a Sesame Street sing-along radio, model number 4701. This was made in Hong Kong for a company called Concept 2000. It has a microphone to sing along with the songs that played on the radio. So let's go ahead and open it up and check it out. Oh, cool. Stick the box over to the side real quick. So as you can see, there's a bunch of wires everywhere. Alright, so that's basically what it was. It had a radio on the side right here where you could tune and find different stations. and then this cord, and you put batteries in it with power, this wire, and yeah, it hooks up right here, boom. So back in the 70s, if you wanted to sing along to your favorite song, all you had to do was turn this on and find your radio station, and it would broadcast it out, you know, and you could sing along, kind of like the first stages of karaoke, it kind of looks like. But yeah, this is cool. It's got a couple of the Jim Henson's Muppets, you know, and Big Bird, the famous iconic Big Bird. This is pretty vintage and old. It says Big Bird Sing-Along Band, CTW, Sesame Street. Trademark of CTW. So yeah, this is a pretty cool find, man. I'm sure there's somebody out there that loves Sesame Street and old vintage stuff like this, vintage radios, and someone needs this for their collection. So all you gotta do is just let me know in the comments what you think about this, if you know of its value maybe. So we're gonna stick this to the side for now. So I wanted to give a shout out real quick to the place I got that from. It was called Expressions Unlimited Antiques and Gifts, 105 East Rutherfordton Street, Landrum, South Carolina, 29356. I went into this store. It's in downtown Landrum, and they have a lot of nice antique stuff. I've found all kinds of stuff. Like, it's just, I didn't know that this place even existed that close to me, because I'm probably 20 minutes from this store. So I'm going to be going back, believe that. Like I said though, I don't know if you can... Vintage Sesame Street thing. So, speaking of Sesame Street, I had built a lamp out of some scrap metal, because if you watch the channel often, you know that I do scrap metal art also. Well, I had built a lamp. Well, my wife's Aunt Carrie fell in love with this lamp, and she's just like me. She loves odd, unique stuff, you know, and this is definitely a one-of-a-kind piece. But I actually traded her that lamp for these, because she knows I love old vintage stuff. So this right here is some promotion flyers from 1975 promoting their season 7. And as you can see, this is a pretty vintage photo. Well, on the back it would say, "Help us feed the Cookie Monster." No, don't send us cookies, send us money, and lots of it, to continue daily broadcast of programs that help young minds grow. Won't you help? Send your check or money today. I'll still show you that on the back. And so yeah, this is a way they would get money up, and show you the other ones. I got 2 of these ones that look just like each other, the same exact ones. And then I got this one that's a picture of the cast of season 7 from 1975. So that's a cool photo, and it's got the same thing on the back of this one too, where it's like, you know, we gotta feed that Cookie Monster, but you can't send us cookies, we need money. So I think this is a pretty neat find. So there's somebody out there that loves Sesame Street stuff, then go ahead and hit me up in the comments or get in touch with me, and we can definitely get these out to you. So speaking of Sesame Street, got one more thing from that. When I went to the Goodwill the other day, I found this for $1, and I looked inside, and this is actually from, let's see, 1998. This is a Bert and Ernie bathtub figure. It was probably made as a bathroom decor, but it's good shape to be from 1998, and it still has like the scan sticker from back in the day. But it was $1. I just figured, you know, somebody out there would probably want this. Like, it's Bert and Ernie, Sesame Street. It's from '98, and it's not damaged. There's no like scratches, no discoloration. It's pretty good shape. I just want to peel that sticker off. I'm sure it's going to leave a little film behind. But yeah, like I said, if you like Sesame Street, old vintage stuff, just get in touch with me. So up next, we have found a 1973 Fisher-Price movie viewer with the included movie from the commercials from 1973. This is called Walt Disney's Lonesome Ghost, and I found this in the store called Kids and More Consignment Shop. Now this is a great shop that's located in Malden, and they have awesome antiques and vintage toys. I mean, they had everything. I was like amazed, but I had to pick this up because I just thought this was too cool. It is missing the label on the crank wheel right here, but that's alright. It does have the original label right here where it says Fisher-Price Movie Viewer and has the patents on it. And I'm going to try to play some footage for you using my camera phone from the movie. As you can see, this is the movies you would have bought for this thing back in the day, and they made all kinds of different ones, but this is the one that actually came with it when you bought it in stores. But you just take the movie, pop it in like that, right? Well, you kind of think you would do it like this, but there's an eyepiece right here, right? So you stick your eye up to this piece, and you get it to the beginning where it says presents Lonesome Ghost, you know, and you just crank it at your speed. You can crank it faster to make the movie go by faster, or you can actually rewind it and back it up, and then you can go slow again to create it. But I'm going to go ahead and show you in the video real quick what it looks like through the eye as you're cranking the crank. So yeah, definitely one of the cooler finds I have found on my journeys in these little shops and stuff, because it's not all about going to the thrift store all the time. Like sometimes you'll find a consignment shop or something, and that's where you'll find some really cool stuff like this. So let's go to the next thing. Okay, so recently I went to what's called the Retro Toy Convention in South Carolina, which was hosted in Greenville, South Carolina this year by Toy Federation. And this is a place you can go and find vintage toys like G.I. Joes, Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. I mean, they have it all there, right? Well, this store, Toy Federation, is actually located in Greer, South Carolina. And you can go online and see the stuff they have, or you can actually go into the brick and mortar store. It's a great place, wonderful guys, and they help present and put this all together. I loved it. I had a great time. You had Ghostbusters cosplay people walking around. You had Power Rangers. You had Star Wars. Oh man, the best one I think though was when a little kid that entered the kids cosplay contest. He had the David Hasselhoff wig. He had the David Hasselhoff chest hair going on. He was basically Knight Rider, and he had the kit car over his shoulder straps and around his whole body. And he could talk to it, and it would interact with him, and it had like the lights playing the theme song from Knight Rider. Man, it was awesome. If that kid didn't win, I'm gonna be pissed off. But while I was leaving, I stopped by the Toy Federation's booth, and he had some Ninja Turtle figures. And Ninja Turtles was one of my favorites growing up. That's all I watched. That's all I colored. That's all I played with, right? So he happened to have two for $5 box going on, and I had some cash on me, so I went through the box and I actually found two that I had personally when I was a little kid. So let me show you now. This right here is a 1991 Grand Slam Ralph. This is the 4.5-inch tall one, and he's missing the glove and the bat, but still, it's got the Ralph on the bat, the red, you know, he's in a baseball uniform. I always thought this was so cool how they mixed baseball with the Ninja Turtles like that. I loved it. So that was one of my favorites growing up. But this one right here was one of my absolute favorites I had growing up, because this one I got when I was really young. And this was a 1989 Casey Jones figure. And when I was growing up in the early 90s, I always made sure I had this one out. He was one of my favorites. And I actually have a tattoo of him on my leg, of his face. I'll show you that right now. There, guys. It's a little older tattoo, but it still looks good. It's the Casey Jones, like I said. Okay, so as you can see, I really do like Casey Jones, and that was always my favorite when he would come out into the cartoon, because he wasn't in every show. He wasn't in every scene, you know. He wasn't like the Turtles and the Foot Clan and Shredder and all them, but when he did make an appearance, I was like, yeah, you know, I was cheering him on. But he did come with a golf bag that had like some pipe clubs and some golf clubs and stuff in it, you know, because his main thing was like the hockey stick, but this toy didn't really have the hockey stick. It just came with like some pipes and golf clubs and stuff, but it's missing all that. But still, I had a huge nostalgic going on for a minute when I picked this one up, because I don't have this in my collection, but now I do. So this one's definitely not for sale. I'm just going to keep that and put it on my shelf. Okay, so guys, last but not least for today, we have, while I was leaving the toy convention, right, the same one we was just talking about, I was walking out and I see a guy that's coming out behind me, you know, and we're walking about the same pace, you know, and he has a stack of board games. And like I said, this toy convention had everything from comics, board games, to stuff you've never seen in your life, or just, it was so much eye candy, right? So I just look over to them. I'm a very sociable person. Like, I interact with anybody. I don't care what your clique is or what your style is or whatever. If I see something cool, I want to say something, I do it. I don't care. Alright, so I just kind of look at him and I say, hey man, you scored some nice things today, huh? And he was like, not really. I'm not really here to buy. I'm here to sell. And I was like, oh, did you have a booth in there or something? And he said, no. I just paid to come in and walk around and see if any of this stuff was worth anything. Well, it turns out this guy's a local picker also. He does stuff just like I do. He goes to thrift stores. He goes to yard sales too. Well, he figured he could come to the toy convention and try to sell some things. And he said he did wind up selling a bunch of old G.I. Joe stuff and a bunch of old Power Ranger stuff like that. Well, he had this one board game, and I'm a sucker for board games. Me and my family, me and my wife, my mother, my brother, and they all come over. We pop the popcorn and wine bottles, and we have fun and have board games, you know. Well, he had this game in his hands, and I was like, man, I've never heard of that. And he was like, I asked the guy in there, and he said it was a super rare game, but he wouldn't give me what I wanted for it. And I was like, well, how much was you asking for it? And he was like, well, I was wanting 50 for it. And I was like, ooh, you know, yikes, you know, I'm not a collector like that. Like, I like to buy them cheap for like $1 or $2 and try to flip them, but he had already beat me to that point, you know. So we worked out a deal right there in the parking lot at the doors. I gave him a $20 bill and said, give me that one King Gold board game, and because I've never seen one. So this is from 1974 by Milton Bradley. And be careful with it because there's a lot of small pieces in there. And I did count everything up. Everything is there. But this was called King Oil. Combine luck and strategy to control the oil fields. So I'm going to sit it down right here just for a second. And kind of open it up and show you guys. There's the old instructions. But as you can see, this was the game board, right? King Oil. Well, you couldn't never memorize this because what you apparently do is you've got to roll your die and get your cards and stuff. Well, you take this little oil driller and say I stick it here, right? See, that's all the way up out of the 3, right? Well, let's take it out, reset it, and stick it here. You see how it's like nothing's there, right? So this was like a game of chance and strategy where you had to strike the most oil and stack up the most money, and you got all these pegs and stuff. Well, you stick it on there and see like there was nothing. But I stick it there, and now it's like, it's the max oil you can strike. And let's see, stick it here. That one's a 3 also. See, that one's a 2, right? Well, see, you couldn't sit there and memorize this stuff because after each game, they had these little rotary dials right here, right? So after each game, you turn these dials, and it would change the whole board up. So you couldn't really memorize it, right? But this just looked like a cool game to play. I'm actually going to have to try this with my family one day just to play it. I mean, this is a vintage game. I've never seen one. I can go to a store right now all day and find like Sorry, Monopoly, and Uno, and Yahtzee, and you know, just all that. I mean, you don't just walk in and see these anymore. So I just thought this was a pretty cool. Definitely someone out there that collects board games, especially vintage ones, or definitely people that collect oil, because you don't see many oil games, you know. So I just thought this was pretty cool. So guys, that's going to do it for today's show. I hope you liked the show today. If you liked it, then make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on the next episode of Matt's Finds. Peace.